Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's session. My name is Marilyn Lau, and I am with the USC Viterbi School of Engineering Admission and Student Engagement Team. So it is my pleasure today to welcome you to today's session of our Spotlight series, where we highlight our master's degree in biomedical engineering. We are joined by Professor Peter Yingxiao Wang, who will be sharing more information on the degree programs, and who is also here to answer any questions that you might have.
Hi everyone.
Hello, welcome, Professor Wang. So before we get started, I do want to mention that we will be sending out a copy of today's presentation slides. There is a lot of information, so there is no need to jot them down if you don't need them right away. It does take around 1 to 2 business days for the email to be sent out. And for those of you, who are watching this webinar at a later time, please note that the content is from April 13th, 2023. And the content, does change. So we do recommend for you to visit our website for the most updated information. In terms of questions, we do highly encourage you to ask any questions that you have during the session by typing it in the Q&A chat instead. And so then we'll be able to monitor and be able to answer those questions, especially, towards the end, we will be having a Q&A session where you can definitely ask your questions to Professor Wang, and he'll be able to answer those for you, for us. So for today's program, I will give a quick introduction of University of Southern California, followed by, just some information about our own Viterbi School of Engineering, and then I will go ahead and pass the presentation over to Professor Wang, who will then talk about the different biomedical engineering programs and give an overview of the master's programs themselves, and then about the application criteria. I'll then continue and go through our Dana Viterbi, which is our online delivery method. And then talk a little bit about tuition and funding, and then we'll end this webinar with the Q&A session with Professor Wang. So here's just some photos of our campus, which is located in Los Angeles. And we are the oldest private university in the Western United States. We were founded back in 1880. And also in terms of the student population, we are, almost close to 50,000, in which, our graduates we have more graduates than our undergrads. And then we do have, over 4,700 full-time faculty across, the entire University of Southern California. And these are also including our adjunct faculty members as well, who, come from, the work industry, and they're able to bring, information and expertise from the workforce, into the classrooms for our students. We do have a really diverse student population. Our students come from all different walks of life, from different industry backgrounds, as well as, just all over the globe also. And as mentioned, we are located in Los Angeles. So just a quick glance at Viterbi School. We are made up of 8 academic departments, where biomedical engineering is one of the 8. And then we do have 189 tenure-track faculty and 17 full-time, 33 TT and AE members as well, and then over 90 actually National Science Foundation career national and presidential young investigator. And tying into our faculty, Viterbi School is a leader in funded research. A lot of our faculty, spend their time alongside with our doctoral students in conducting research in more than 35 research centers that we do have, and also there's more than $213 million, which is invested in research expenditures annually. In terms of student population, it is actually, as you can see from this slide, that our graduate students is almost triple the amount of our undergraduate population. And that does include of our master's students. our graduate certificate students, and our PhD doctoral students. And just really quickly tying into research, as I mentioned, Vitruvi School is a leader in funded research. We are, it's a very highly interdisciplinary research environment. We do have over 35 research centers. We do encourage you to visit our website if you are interested in learning more about our research centers to just kind of see what the different research offerings are available. So for today's purpose, we are here to meet with Professor Peter Yingxiao Wang. So Professor Wang, as you can see from the slide, he has received so many awards, has been a fellow as well, and he's just very, very, very experienced. So, we're very, very happy to welcome him, and he is, the current department chair of our biomedical engineering program. So a very, very warm welcome, Professor Wang, and I will go ahead and let you take this forward, and I'll go ahead and navigate the slides for you.
Thank you very much, Mary. It's also a great pleasure seeing everyone. So I just started, my new position here at USC. Actually, Mary, can I see myself? Somehow I cannot see myself. Is there any way you can somehow?
Yeah, I could. Yeah. Let me see.
Okay.
Can you see yourself now?
No, I don't know whether it's my setting or. Yeah, it's fine. I can just keep going. Okay.
I can.
Yes.
We could see you. We could see you.
Okay.
We could see you perfectly. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, so basically, I'm somewhat new, but I already had a good time together with colleagues and students here. So I was a professor at UC San Diego in bioengineering. Stayed there for 10 years and just recently moved to USC. Now I'm like 3 months, into my new position. So for my department, as you can see from the information listed on the slide, we have a really, really long history, right? It started in 1976. So one of the most established program. I think we are probably the first at the West Coast, and we also have 25 also core faculty covering a broad range of different areas in biomedical engineering, from like modeling, analysis, imaging, drug delivery, medical device, as well as neuroengineering and cellular and molecular engineering. Essentially, we try to engineer the cells and genes, and also using equipment, a device to control those genes and cells. And we also have a larger pool of affiliate faculty, so essentially students can have no problem finding any specific area you are interested. We have like more than 50 affiliate faculty across different units and academic departments at the USC. Many of them actually are from Keck School of Medicine. So if you are very interested at the interface between engineering and medicine, particularly applying the cutting edge technology in engineering approach to medical applications, you will find, in any directions, the top-notch talents to work with. Currently, we have 155 master student and 121 PhD student, across the years. So you will find out this very enriched environment. You have a lot of chance to talk to students and learn more about the evolving field of biomedical engineering. Maybe next slide. Yeah, so we are continuously recruiting, the new talents and new faculty. As you can see here, when we started, we only have 4 like founding, faculty, right? And then, there's a growth, very, very slow. In 20 years, we only have 9 faculty, and then, there's a relatively fast growth, and now we have more than 25 faculty. Professor Jennifer Truick was, relatively recently recruited from Caltech. She's basically an expert, try to engineer different ways to deliver the genes into the brain and, study the brain functions. And we also recruited Mariel Mosavi, who is expert developing different kind of, chemical sensors, point care diagnostic device, and electrochemical, probes and sensors for the detection of the chemical compounds. So it's continuously growing, and this year we also have, a position. Hopefully, it will be more. So basically, we have 350 faculty applying for our position, and we narrowed down to 7, really top-notch faculty, and we are really actively trying to recruit them. Hopefully, we can at least have 2 or 3, faculty joining us. Okay, so these are the general information. For the department, you can already see from the charts, we have multiple areas focusing in the department at the current stage, covering, for example, about signals and systems. We have Professor Diagenio, Marco Ku, Vasilis, and also Yamashito. So these are basically the early kind of roots when we developed the department. And now we also grow in the neuroengineering area. We have Ted Berger, Hamaya, and I don't want to list, each individual faculty here, but it's actually strong and big group. We have like 1, 2, totally we have like 10 people, in this area. We also have a very, strong device and imaging group. Right now we have totally like 8 faculty in this area. Sorry, because I'm using my cell phone, so some of the words are kind of small for me to read. Again, this is also strong, group in the department. Now, the last group was cellular and molecular bioengineering. Although it's somewhat relatively small at the moment, but it's a rapidly growing thing. You already see quite some, active faculty in this group, and myself also should belong to this group, and we are continuing, recruiting people in this area. Next, please. Yes, thank you. So, in terms of master program, we have several, like a different directions, and these are the development across these years. We already have instructional lab, basically renovated, and also the wet lab space is also ready, so students can have hands-on experience if some of you are interested to play with the real like cells, genes, and device, so you have a place to play with. And also we recruited a full-time technician to help to run those labs. So students can not only learn the context, the principles in the class and lectures, they can also really, play and have fun. We also have a makespace area, 8,000 square feet for the project design and fabrication, which is, located at the Civil Science Engineering Library. So again, that's a huge asset for us as well, for the student to have a lot of, real hands-on experience. We also are creating this own makerspace. Now it's a functional, so there's multiple options for you to choose to have your hands, on experience. Next slide, please. So these are some, recent development. Again, our faculties are continuously, strive, really ahead in the different areas of biomedical engineering. Particularly Professor Vasilis Morales recently received like $10 million or NIH funding on model-based diagnosis or early Alzheimer's disease, which is really a joint effort to multiple universities. And Professor Ongji Chang, who received the the IEEE Nanomedicine New Innovator Award, she also was a winner of NIH Innovator Award, which is a big or grand prize for any young faculty. There's only I think several dozens each year from the whole nation. Our recent Professor Marel Masavi also won the NIH Innovator Award just last year. And Professor Ellisman and Dang Song received a 5-year, 6 million Brain Initiative Award from NIH. They actually recently also had a major, center grant. I think it's 11.4 million from NIH. So again, you can see that the integration between the device and the brain or neural engineering group are, like converging, and we are creating more and more active, centers around those directions. Most recently, we are very fortunate due to the generous gift from Alfred E. Mann Foundation. We really have endowed or named our department as Alfred E. Mann Department of Biomedical Engineering, and this gift is 35 million. So this amount of the support will allow us to recruit the top-notch, faculty, and also provide support for us to recruit students, as well as to provide support for more student activities such as like symposium attendance, and even really support students to organize their own conferences and activities within the campus, and of course reach out as well. Next slide, please. So in terms of program of the biomedical engineering or the masters, we have 4 tracks at the current stage, but we are of course continuously revising these plans, and there will be more coming up. So in general, currently we have biomedical engineering track, biomedical data analysis track, medical imaging and imaging informatics track, and the medical device particularly, and diagnostic engineering track. We are considering to add the AI, machine learning, track as well in the future. So if you are interested, by all means, you can reach out to us. We are, working on that. Hopefully it will become a reality, later this year or next year. Next slide, please. Let's see. Hopefully it can allow me to see more. So basically, this is the track about biomedical engineering. You can see we have 28 units, and there's required courses, 5 courses, which is 17 units. Essentially, it cover the general topic in biomedical system, the nervous system, physiological control system, signal and system analysis, and there's one seminar, in bioengineering, which basically we invite different faculties, across the nation and frontiers across the nation, and even some of them are from the international, universities, basically covering all the frontiers in the field, so students can be, broadly exposed. And then after these core courses, you can also have the choice for technical electives. That's basically, you have multiple choices as long as you can, satisfy 7 units. So that's the biomedical engineering track. And the second would be biomedical, data analytical, program. Again, 28 units total. And you take these, core courses, 5 courses. Majority of them are very similar to the overall design. And then you have the choice of electives, right? So for the electives, you can really, based on your own interest, you can pick, like, for example, 2 courses from all these, elective courses based on your own, preference. Next, please. So the medical imaging and imaging informatics, similar design. It's always you have the base, core courses, right? 17 units, and you can see that There are some common courses like these advanced topics in biomedical systems, but there will be some, like relatively unique courses like healthcare operation improvement, quality management for engineers, and technology development and implementation. So these are the core which you are required to take. And then after that, again, you have the choice based on your personal preference. You can choose like from these different courses to certify these 9 to 10 units. Essentially, it's like 2 or 2.5, courses. Next, please. Okay, so this is the other track, which is focusing on the medical device and diagnostic engineering. Again, you have a core, which is 5 or actually 6 courses, but some of them are like a 3 units. So you satisfy with this requirement, and then take another like 2 courses, basically in the elective, options. Again, this is your choice, depending on your interest. Next, please.
Thank you so much, Professor Wang.
Okay.
Yeah, I could go ahead and go through the application for the master's program. So yeah, thank you, Professor Wang, for walking us through the different biomedical engineering programs, and also kind of what the curriculum is. So for those of you who are interested in applying, the general application criteria would be for our programs would be having an undergraduate degree in either engineering, math, or hard science from a regionally accredited university. So for the application purposes stage, you do need to submit your digital official transcripts. And to be competitive, we do recommend having a 3.0 GPA on a 4.0 scale, but by no means is it a requirement, but it is highly recommended. And in terms of transcripts, as I mentioned, it has to be from all post-secondary universities. Anything after high school, you will need to submit digital copies of your official transcripts. Please do note that, the GRE is not required for admissions to fall 2023, but we do recommend, if you're applying to future terms, especially, if you're watching this webinar at a later time, to just clarify on our website whether or not the GRE would be a requirement. And then for all our graduate programs, actually, it does require you to have a CV or a resume, and also you do need to submit your statement of purpose, so yeah, like your personal statement, and then also 3 letters of recommendation are also required as well. And for those of you who are international applicants, there may be a chance that for international applicants, you do need to submit either your TOEFL or your IELTS exam. So if you are deciding that you want to apply to our biomedical engineering program, so we do encourage you to go to our website and to look under the individual biomedical engineering program page for more information in terms of the admissions requirements. So Professor Wang, would you be able to walk us through where some of our alumni are working now who have graduated from the biomedical engineering programs? Oh, can you unmute yourself? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so all students goes to different areas. Mainly, I think it's about half-half. Some of them, continue to go to the graduate school, and a larger portion of them also will go to industry, right? So these are the listed outcomes. All students go to the Abbott, Imaging, Apple. I don't want to read all the names, but you can see these are mostly pharmaceutical industry, biotechnology, and some of the medical, companies essentially, and they serve as engineers, in these different companies. And the other portion goes to graduate school, like they become a master student, and also some of, I think 1/3 perhaps directly getting to the PhD program. So these are the most outcome for the student from the department.
Thank you, Professor Wang. So in terms of, application deadlines, for those of you who are interested in applying for fall 2023, which does begin, mid to end of August, we have actually extended the application deadline for online Dana Viterbi students to May 31st. And so to be eligible for this application extension, you do need to be pursuing your program online as your delivery method. And also, you can, it's also for students who do not require a student visa sponsorship, such as a F1 or I-20. But, for those of you who are like, fall is just too soon, I need a bit more time, our next semester intake is spring 2024. And that deadline is currently, September 15th. But, if you are interested to pursue as an online Dana Viterbi student, we do have an application extension available. So please do reach out to me at that email at danaviterbi.usc.edu, and I'll be able to work with you on that. So in terms of the course delivery methods, so, we do have two different course delivery methods. So we do have the on-campus and then also the online through Dana Viterbi. So on campus, just really quickly, the students who tend to pursue on campus, they do tend to be pursuing it at a full-time basis, which means that, they aren't working and they're taking around 3 to 4 classes per semester. So then it would take them around maybe 1.5 to 2 years to complete their degree. Whereas, for online Dana Viterbi students, they do tend to be working professionals, who are working on a full-time basis. And so they do tend to pursue their graduate degree, more on a part-time basis. And then they take 1 to 2 courses per semester, in which resulting in around 2.5 to 3 years to complete their degree. So how does Dana Viterbi work? So for those of you, who haven't joined us before for a Dana Viterbi information session, Dana Viterbi is Viterbi School of Engineering's, own state-of-the-art proprietary web-based delivery system, which enables our students from all over the world to be able to access classes in 2 ways. One, as it is happening, so they're able to stream in live, watch it live as it's happening. They can interact, raise their hand, they could dial in, or they can watch it later as a recording on their own time, as because it is really flexible, especially for working professionals. And also, if you are a Dana Viterbi student, you can also sit in on classes as well at USC's Los Angeles campus if you're ever in the area. So that's also another flexibility also. So as a Dana Viterbi student, so you do view the same lectures as on-campus students. So, the curriculum is the same. It is also fresh content every semester. So what that means is that the faculty will bring in content that is trending during the current time. So then industry professionals, for example, they are able to apply what they learn in the classroom to their day-to-day jobs. And then you do also participate in highly interactive discussions with your professors and your peers, and you do submit your homework electronically. And then in terms of exams, so exams, you will be taking them at a proctor testing center located near your home or your work. But if you are living or residing in Los Angeles area, then you would actually take your exams in person at USC's campus. So for those of you who are joining us live or watching this as a recording afterwards, and you are, unsure whether you want to be a Dana Viterbi student or an on-campus student, this slide here is really to just kind of show you, what the difference is. As you can see, the program admission requirements are the same for both delivery methods. It's more so in terms of the course lectures are different. As you can see, online students do have online with an interactivity, but as an on-campus student, you will be expected to be sitting in on lectures in person. And then in terms of having access to online course archives, as an online dentistry student, you do have access to this 100%. But as an on-campus student, you would only be access to course archives only if you are enrolled in a Den Avatribi section, which means that there is a Den student in your class. In terms of assignments, it is electronic for online students, but then for on-campus students, you will be submitting it in person during the lecture or lab. But do note that the course deadline dates would be the same. Exams for Den Avatribi student, it would be at a proctored location, whereas on-campus student will be taking it at Los Angeles, at the Los Angeles campus. Courses per semester, I talked briefly on before. Online Den Avatribi students, they do tend to be working professionals, so they do tend to take 1 to 2 courses per semester. And then the degree completion requirements are the same for both. You do need to achieve complete a certain amount of units, and you do need to have a 3.0 GPA or above. So ultimately, at the end, the degree that you and diploma that you will receive from USC, it will be the same. And this is just really quickly, how our Den Avatribi classroom looks for those of you who are interested in pursuing your degree as an online Den Avatribi student. And there's just some additional information. So so we do offer a limited status enrollment option. And so this is an enrollment option, which really allows our qualified candidates to begin their coursework before formal admissions. So you do need to have a 3.0 GPA to be able to enroll and jumpstart as a limited status student to take some courses. And for those of you who are being sponsored and reimbursed by your employers, we do also have a tuition deferment program, which means that you are able to defer your payment, your upfront payment of up to 90% until the end of the semester is over. So for any more of these information of limited status or tuition deferment program, I do recommend you to visit those links that we have indicated on this website. And just really quickly, just to cover on the tuition. So the tuition at USC Viterbi for graduate engineering programs is 5 per unit rate, as you can see here. And so this is the current rate as of today. Do note that the tuition rates do change every academic year. So we do recommend for you to go to our tuition and funding page on our website to reference the latest and most updated tuition fees. And so for those of you, who are looking to get started, here are just some helpful links for you to navigate. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead now and, ask some questions to Professor Wang. So, meanwhile, we'll let some people start typing in their questions, but Professor Wang, I do have a question for you. Are there any opportunities to do any research or thesis related for people who are interested in biomedical engineering programs, either as an on-campus or online student?
For sure, actually. So even in my own lab, we currently have 3 master students doing research in my lab. And I'm sure there are many others, in other faculties and colleagues in the department. And because we have a large pool of the courtesy faculty, so it's very easy for students to find out, the laboratory and have some research experience. For online students, that may, create some kind of, limitation, because perhaps they can only work on research related to like informatics and database analysis, those kind of things. If you want to have real hands-on experience, then probably would be difficult. But we do have some faculty working on like more, modeling and analysis aspect.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Possible explore and find out more information.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And so another question would be, if someone was able to complete their master's degree in biomedical engineering, and they want to pursue a PhD afterwards, is that possible?
Of course, that's possible. So actually, it's advantage for student enrolled in the master program if they found a lab.
Mm-hmm.
Higher chance, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thank you, Professor. Okay, so I do have a question, that came in from one of our attendees. So what is the general consensus for future applicants who want to sit in on lecture before beginning a program? Actually, because this is actually more for us here in the admissions team. Okay. Okay, so Karina, so actually, yeah, so if you're interested in, sitting in on a lecture before applying for formal admissions, unfortunately, that wouldn't be, we do have, some options that are available, but then you would still need to, so one was, for example, I mentioned would be the limited status. So limited status, you can take one course, for example, in biomedical engineering, to kind of feel out, whether you're interested in that program by taking a course. So it's a way for you to, kind of jumpstart before applying for formal admissions, but you would still pay the tuition fee for that one course that you would take for that semester. So with limited status, you can take up to 12 units as limited status before then applying for formal admission. But even if you take one course during one semester and you decide that you want to enroll in formal admission, then you can definitely do so. And okay, so if the application process, so the application process is the same for in-person students. So for on-campus and online delivery method, you still need to complete the UAC graduation application form. So it is the same. But just note that for limited status, that is for online Dana Viterbi, to be an online delivery student. So limited status is for online delivery method only. Okay, so you work at you work at CAC, but your schedule is somewhat flexible. Is it possible to do online and in-person classes? Yes, most definitely. So as I mentioned, as an online Dana Viterbi student, you do have a physical seat in every class that you are enrolled in. So given that you are based at Tech, which is probably in the downtown office or like campus, you are able to sit in on classes if you have the flexibility and your time allows, but by no means is it a requirement, but it's definitely that benefit. Okay, so Professor Wen, we do have a question. So this is a question about hands-on experience. Are we partnered with other colleges, or where do you recommend getting hands-on experience?
Yes. Let me see. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
we could hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So for hands-on experience, yes. The most common way is you reach out to each individual faculty or PI and start to do some research, and immediately you will have the access and experience. There are some classes, they have some portion of the hands-on experience. In fact, I'm going to also create a class, perhaps there's a 1/3 or even more, classes. We will basically focus on some projects which student will be, required to operate some like portion of the experiments. So those are all possibilities, but mostly I think most convenient or easy way is just to reach out to different faculties and do some research in the laboratory. That's most substantial, and we have so many faculty for you to explore.
Thank you for that, Professor Wang. So there's a follow-up question from the same attendee who asked the question about hands-on experience. So they are currently residing in Houston, Texas. So they want to know, is it possible for online students, like how is it possible for online students to get hands-on experience of either, is it possible through, through USC, through the program, or if we're partnered with campuses nearby? Professor Wang, we can't hear you. Hello? Hello? Well, I guess, Tamika, in general, we'll wait for Professor Wayne to come back, but, just in general, for online Dana Viterbi students, if there are courses where it requires, hands-on experience or even like lab work, for example, where you need to be in person, if it is a required course, then there will be an alternative for you to take. But unfortunately, if it is a lab work, for example, which may be a elective, there are times where it won't be accessible online through Dana Viterbi, just given the nature of the lab work and the course itself. So I hope that answered your questions. Okay. And then in terms of
Marilyn, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know why. Maybe the question is so difficult. Internet was not like. But anyway, I think you answered very well.
Oh, yeah, okay. You answered very well. Would you like to add on to that?
Yeah, I think that's difficult, online to have hands-on experience. I think, again, you can talk to individual PI. They may come up with some creative ways, but in general, it's not that easy. Yeah, that's a reality. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Thank you for adding on to that and confirming that as well, Professor Wang. Okay, so there is another question which I could answer. So what if you want to sit in lectures to get better acquainted with the material just in general? Yeah. So we do offer, a audit enrollment, and it's not really enrollment, but it's auditing, right? So a student who wishes to, view a course for a non-credit, so it would be non-credit as a Dana Viterbi student, and you can enroll as an audit student. So audit students will receive class materials, but then you do not complete homework and you do not take exams. So a course, is taken for audit. The course that is taken for audit, you actually won't receive university credit. And it also won't appear on a USC transcript or grade report, but you would still be paying the current tuition rate for that audit course. So, I hope that also, answers your question of the different, options. So, we don't have a option where you just come in and sit in on a lecture for one time. There's basically either you are a audit where you will come, and audit the course, but then you still need to pay a fee as well of the current tuition fee for that specific course that you are auditing. Or you can apply as a limited status student or formal admissions. So I hope that answered your question, Karina. But, given that, our time is, close to coming up, and, I just want to thank, Professor Wang so much for your time, and just being able to answer our questions and to take us through this very informative webinar of the Biomedical Engineering programs. So for those of you, who have questions, please feel free to reach out to us. If you're interested in the on-campus delivery method, you could reach out to our on-campus team. If you're interested in online Dana Viterbi, you could contact me at danaviterbi.usc.edu. My name is Marilyn, and I do try my very best to get back to emails within 1 to 2 business days. So, thank you all so much again, and a really, really, big thank you to Professor Wang. So, take care, have a great day, and as we say at USC, fight on.
Thank you. Fight on. Bye.